Hello, everybody. Happy Monday evening. I'm starting a little bit early tonight. I was just here, so I thought I would work out the kinks as people join in. I'm very eager to see everybody tonight. This is another one of my Makers Monday. For those of you that don't know me and may be watching this on Rewind. Hi, Sharon. Welcome in. My name's Laura Mester of Laura's Stampin' Up Legacy Studio. Hi, Sarah. There you are. Welcome in. And I've been doing these. We've getting together with a group of ladies and friends that I've been stamping with and doing our Stamping Up with for over a year and a half. So, hi, Terry. Welcome on in. Excited to see everybody tonight. I'm just hiding from the heat like all of you here in the cool. It's a great time to be working on cards because as much as I want to work in my yard, it is... Hi, Janice. Welcome in. It is way too hot to be outside, but can't complain. We have better weather than some parts of the country, right? So, but I don't know. We had... Sharon had a party a while ago. I know some of you came to that. And I just thank you, everybody. It was really nice to actually get together in person. Hey there, Donna. Long time no see. You've been busy with those grandkids. Nice to see you tonight. But it was nice to be together with everybody. And the order, partial order has come in. The rest should come in tomorrow. So I am going to be splitting that up and bagging it and getting some over to Sharon to deliver to the people near her and delivering near me. So hopefully... definitely by this weekend, we should have all that out to everybody if everything comes in as it should, which it normally does. So, so that's kind of what's gone on. At the end, I will talk about what's coming up. We do have a mystery host code running right now, and I know we all love that. So it's only running until Friday. So, hi, Shirley. Welcome in. So you got to make sure that if you want something and you want to get in for the mystery draw, you've got till noon on Friday for that. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. So as people are joining, I think I'm going to turn down. Let me get my iPad rebooted so I can see. I definitely can because I can hear myself. All right. So here we go. That way I can keep up with everybody. Hi, Cindy. Welcome in. So I think we've got a lot of you in here. We're starting a card challenge today, and the card challenge will run until September 12th. Check my notes. Yeah, we'll start today. We'll run until September 12th, and there's a live on September 13th where we'll have, little prizes and stuff like I always do. So it's called a Flip Card Challenge. And I'm going to focus the demonstration on that. I won't be creating the whole card. I'll be showing you the tricky part, which is creating the, it's a partial die cut, is what creates the flip. So I will be showing you how to do that with your die cutting machine. And I am going to demonstrate, I just got the new big machine. So I'll be demonstrating that tonight as well. So let's turn on down. So nice to see everybody in here. And then I'll get to work. All right. Let's go on down like this. I'm trying a new setup, so we'll see how this works. It should be pretty good if my lighting is working. Let's see what happens now. Oh, there we go. I hate when it's crooked. That's not too bad. I think I'll just leave well enough alone there. So this is the card right here, and it's called a flip card. And my inspiration for this was Wendy Cranford, but I've done a flip card before. I believe we did a flip card. Mary had a party at her house, and this is before I became a demonstrator. She used to be a demonstrator at one point for Stampin' Up. And she did a die. It was a symmetrical. You need to have a symmetrical die to do this. And symmetrical means that a circle, if you fold it in half, is symmetrical, and so would be a rectangle, but you can have shapes that are symmetrical too. And Mary had a cupcake that was symmetrical, so we did a cupcake card that was a symmetrical flip card, and it flips like that. So the part that's the partial die cut is a partial die cut along this fold here. So, and then the rest is just a little bit of paper and stuff. So why don't I go over, I will, at 9 p.m. tonight, there's a scheduled post in the group, I think, and on the page, that will show the dimensions. I'll run through them here. But for right now, and let me swipe so I can see people talking. There we go. The dimensions for this, it's a normal card base. So it's a normal 8.5 by, I'm sorry, yeah, it's a normal 8.5 by 5.5, right? And then you score it. So I'm going to do a black one. It's hard to see the fold on the black one, so that's why I brought this gray one in here. So your dimensions are on the base. So your 5.5 by 8.5, I'm used to saying it that way, is your base card. So, and it folds differently. So this is actually going to be your interior, right here, the larger part. So when it folds up, that's the inside. So you're going to score it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4, which is a normal 4 1/4 score you would do for a normal A2 card that would fold in half. I don't want to fold this yet because you don't want to fold it. You score it, but you don't fold it until you do the die cut. So, but that's the dimensions on your base. Like I said, I'm going to cut the black one. It was just hard to see. So I wanted to show you those score lines. And then this is the other piece of paper you'll need is some designer series paper for the inside. So that's 4 by 5 1/4 in there. And then when it comes to, it's freezing on me. I hope it's not freezing on you. All right. So you'll also need some basic white. So the basic white is what I did this circle with. So whatever your die is that you're going to make the flip with, your partial die cut, you're going to cut 2 of those dies to go on either side of that image. So that's your flipping image. So it doesn't have to be a circle, anything symmetrical. I'll show you some things at the end. This is another one I did, and a rectangle works very well. And this was from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, which I have them right here, which are still in the catalog. But we can talk about that at the end. There is a way to do it without die cutting, but my suggestion to you is that if you don't have a die or a machine to do that, come see me, come find a friend, or I will show after I do the die cut with the machine how to do it manually. But you honestly want to just get the die cuts because they make it so much more fun. So let's do the die cut. Get these aside. Okay, so this is your base. So you want to get the die you're using. For this one, I'm going to use my circle. And it's best to position it, when I was doing my sentiments, I wanted it positioned a little bit above the center this way. It's of course going to be centered on that flip. Okay, so the trick of the partial cutting comes in with the placement of your plates. So you'll want to, I want to go a little bit above. Remember, it's going to fold this way. So this is the outer flap, the little inner flap, and then the full inside flap. So I'm going to center this a little up because I want to have some room for my sentiments. And then you want to center it equally on, I know you can't see the score line, but my score line's right here. You're going to need some washi tape or some kind of tape that's not going to, that'll hold it down but will release it for you. So put this one piece here. I would put 2 pieces on this. Poor Santa. Do you girls have a lot of washi tape? I'm not a huge washi tape person. In fact, this is what I use washi tape the most for. I know other people use it in their scrapbooking, but I just never really got into it as much. I do have a whole case full of it, thanks to one of my friends. All right, so here, so I've got that lined up, and you want to make sure you tape it on the larger side of your base, that side of the score. So bring in your plates. Okay, and for this one, if you've got the new machine like I do, I'm so excited. These are the plates that came with it, and the base. So it always tells you on your number 1 and your number 2 that these are not cutting surfaces. So what that means is you flip them over. So anyway, there's your base plate. And then it needs that shim. And it does tell you on the other side of that what your patterns are. I've been doing some cutting, and it's amazing how they start to warp fairly quickly. Just keep flipping them around, and that should stop that process for you. So now what you need to do is, it's tricky because I'm doing it on air, which is always tricky. So I want to do it right. So you don't want it to cut, you want to cut the little part, not the rest of it. So you want to partial die cut it. And if you have the plates, you'd want to leave the plate off the part that you're not going to cut, because it's only going to cut where the plates are pressing against it. So this is where it's tricky to get your lighting good enough, and I apologize if that's going to get too bright for you, and it is. But you have to really get in there, and you want your plate, top plate, to line up right on that score line. So I think I have it there. The trick to this is you got to really hold it when you go through. So let me set this aside and get my machine in place, because I kind of want to run it through in front of you. It's going to be a little tight though, so because there's not a lot of room there, but there's the machine in there. So, and then I'm going to bring back this plate, and it is tricky because you got to line it up, and you know these plates are slippery, but you just got to get it in there. And I think I have it lined up. The trick is when you're going through, you really need to hold your plate in place, even as it goes through. I found it's better with a circle, but with the rectangle it tends to move a little bit. It's not going in. I think it moved the plate. Yeah, hold on. I can't do it with the camera. Let me do this off the. I think you got an idea what I'm supposed to be doing though. I can't do it because I can't get over top of it because of the camera. But get yourself, see what happened was it was starting in, but it wasn't. It was pushing the plate instead of it going in. And get it lined back up again. And sometimes you got to fiddle with it a little bit. But there, I'm lined back up. Getting back in place. That's performance anxiety with people watching, right? And get it right in there, and then hold it down tight, and just start your turn, and it should start going through for you. There it goes. Got it. You heard my machine go. I'm watching. It looked like it moved a little bit on me. And if it moves on you, just go back and line it up again. It moved about 1/4 inch on me. So, and I want it to be, so you can go back again with that then and cut it. So let me get it back on there. Just don't take the tape off, because you can see where my line was there. So try lining it up again. And maybe I'm learning my new machine, so as I get to know it better, I think I'll get better acquainted with it. But just make sure you get that right in there. Let me try one more time. So, have any of you ever tried one of these cards? It's moving a little bit, so hopefully it went that time. No, it slid again on me. Well, this figures. I did it twice really good on my own, and now it's getting, because if you don't, I'll show you what it's not doing. Well, I almost got it. So it's cutting it, It's almost to the edge. It's pretty close. Let me try one more time. Keep slipping on one side over the other. But this really is the only part, the tricky part of the card. So let me try one more time. So in she goes. Fingers crossed, girls. If this isn't it, I might just snip it. Now if you have the rectangle, you can snip it. Because it starts to move it instead of taking it. There we go. Well, I'm going to go with that, and we will work with it. So I ran it through. Let's pretend I ran it through once and it worked perfect. So take off your tape, and I'll show you a trick that I sometimes do if something hasn't turned out perfect. It might have. Yeah, there we go. So there's the cut. It's almost there. So you could take a little bit of snips. If you do it perfect, great. If you don't, take a straight edge. And you can do a little bit of, looks like a little, hopefully you won't have the performance anxiety that I had working on camera. I'm just going to do a little bit with my straight edge to get it all the way to the edge. Or you could use a little bit of your snips to do that. So there's the partial cut. So once you've done that, which is the partial cut here, that's really all there is to it. So you could fold this way, and this one that way, and that's it. There's your partial cut. And then you would line up your circles like this, and you'd put it right on there, and on that side you could do whatever. You could put a sentiment on a circle and put it there. You could have a little decoration. You could have a whole different, I mean, you can personalize this to however you want to make the card. But the main thing you're learning to do is this flip. So, and I've got to work, like I said, I've made the 2 samples. I'm going to work a little more with that to get more proficient at getting the half a cut, because it's a little tricky. But that's why it's called a challenge card, right, girls? I know you're up for it. So, okay, so let's get this in here and get back to what I wanted to show you. And the main thing is to hold that plate down and get that plate to go into your machine without slipping. And that can be the tricky part. So I'll show you a few alternates. If you don't have someone around to do a die cut and you don't have the machine, you could take, you saw my little cutting blade, and you could take a straight edge. I have a metal one. But you could just make a rectangle out of your paper cutter, and you could just put that on there and just trace that and cut that with your straight edge. So that's an alternate way if you didn't have access to a die cutting machine to do a flip with a rectangle. I also, and the rectangles actually works pretty good. The ones with the stitched so sweetly, you can actually line up perfectly because they have this scalloping, and you can pick the middle scallop. So totally line that one up. So that's an alternate die that would work. I was looking through some of the dies I had to see what might work. Actually, the All for Baby set would work because the dies are symmetrical, which means I could cut this little onesie in half and it would fold on itself. So you could do any of those as the flip. That would make an adorable little card. And that's a current stamp or die set. I bought this when it was on clearance. These would make a wonderful flip. And what's this one? Oh, the snail dies have a big rectangle. If anyone has the snail dies, a large, not rectangle, but square that you could use for your flip. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you with the challenge. I'm going to see if you've been asking any questions here. It's not showing me your comments, which... Yeah, I would play with it a few times. Yes, Barbara, you were at that. It must have been at that with at Mary's house that day that I learned that. And it's tricky to keep the plate from sliding. It is. But I would play with it, you know. I mean, with all of these, you play with it. Here, let me turn it up so I can talk. Here we go. Here we go. I think that's good. There we are. Oh, goodness. Watch myself flip around upside down on the iPad. I might just get motion sickness. Yeah, so what'd you think? I see you talking about playing with it. Yes, that's a great idea. I think I'm just not accustomed enough to I've just started die cutting with my new machine, and I think it takes time to get used to a new machine. I was really used to my old machine, which I've handed off. But I think as you get more and more used to it, I think they're so slippery, the plates, because they're so brand new, that mine are just slipping because of that factor. So I think that it'll but if you're much more familiar with the machine, I think you'll be whizzing along at this without a problem. So if you have any questions, like I said, I can help you with it, Sharon. I have to come over anyway, right, to drop off stuff? But just use a rectangle, because that'll solve that issue too. If you do a rectangle, because then if it doesn't cut out of the way, you can just snip it a little bit. There's always tricks. There's a way around it. But I honestly did one of those and it did perfectly. So it's just a matter of not being performance anxiety in front of people, playing on your own and having it to come out. But that will run until September 12th. So I'm giving you 3 weeks. So that's to get you, if you don't have the die, to get the die you need, or it's taking a little longer. I thought of some really simple challenge cards that I thought, I need to challenge you guys. I need to take us outside of the box and do something different. So that's where I went with that one. So, but it'll be fun, and I can help you. If anyone has trouble, let me know, and I can help you through it. We can talk about it if anyone's coming to the Facebook room on Saturday. We can talk about it there. Ooh, that is your birthday, isn't it, Shirley? I got a whole list of birthdays. You know that because I like to send cards. But yeah, it's, September is a birthday Stampin' Up! Lady birthday month. It's a very busy birthday month for our Stampin' Up! Group, because I can think of 3 of you, and 2 of you are in here tonight that have September birthdays. So, but that will be the next live. Before that, we have the Facebook room, which is this Saturday. So the day before that, on the Friday, is when the mystery host code ends. And we're at a party value already. So if you want to get in on this, you've got a few more days. Just get your order in by noon I'm asking for noon on Friday if possible. That way, if there's any little issues, I can fix it with customer service, because they're only open during the weeks. And then we'll do the drawing of the mystery during the room. So there might be more than 3 then. I need to double check. I forget. I don't have my list in front of me. I think there's 3 or 4 of you that have birthdays. I know Doris does. I know Sharon does. I know Shirley does. Terry, do you too? Yes, Terry, you do too. So there's 4 actually that have birthdays that I know of. If I'm forgetting on one, I'm sure you'll let me know. So that's and if you need the host code, it's in the group. So and oh, I know the big news, and I don't know if you noticed this because I created an event. But I was looking ahead through the end of the year, and I know I'm doing if they do their crop, I'm doing St. Philip's crop. They do a scrapbooking crop in October, so I know I'm doing that as an in-person thing. And I decided I wanted to have our get-together where we make that little calendar I always do. So that's going to be my September 25th. So I've got a save your date on that. I think I actually created the event already. But that's the next event at my house. And that's going to be different. It's going to have that little calendar I always make is the little make and take. I'm not doing a second make and take. What we're going to do is more of a question and answer. And we're going to focus on the techniques of paste and powder heat embossing. So just a little different take on it, where we can just kind of have a little free form and make a few panels and learn that instead of actually spending the time creating a second thing. Gives us more time to work together. So, wait a minute. Who's a liar? I'm missing the fun. But anyway, that's it for tonight. If you have questions about the challenge card, please let me know. And I appreciate you all stopping in. And I hope to see everyone during the Facebook room. So I love it when you guys go back and forth. It makes it so much more fun. So stay cool. Have some cool drinks. I've got some lemonade here from Cane's Chicken. Very sweet, as all Southern things tend to be. Have a great evening, and I will see you later this week. The time of the get-together on the 25th, Barbara, that is, I think I put it at 1:30. I tend to try to start everything at 1:30. So typically I run it for a couple hours starting at 1:30. So if people are looking for a different time, kind of make a comment or send me a message. I'll see what people think, but generally that seems to work pretty good. So, oh, there you are, Tanya. Nice to see everybody. Donna, thanks for stopping in. All right, everybody. Good luck with the challenge cards. They're not that hard, I promise. They're really easy once you make the die cut. Good night. I can't finish.